What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we have Denton Day here to give us his college football preview. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Olympics and what's happened over the last couple of days. When we do Rep Your Squad, some teams have put out some unofficial depth charts. We'll take a look at those. There's one wide receiver that is officially about to be moved. So we'll get into a little bit of that. I hope you guys are ready. We have a jam-packed show. You know what's next. Let's go.
Artlist.io.
Welcome back to First String Podcast. I'm your host, Toothpick. So, like I said, we got a jam-packed show. Everybody's here. They're ready to go. Let's get right into it. My guy said, how are you doing?
What's good?
Hey, ready to get into it. Hey, we're talking college football today, so I know you're excited.
Always ready.
Always ready, just like a Georgia Bulldog would be.
Hey,
all right.
I got some stuff from everybody today. It ain't just Georgia today. I got stuff from everybody today.
It's not just Georgia. Got you. Listen, Lady A HR is watching. She said that she's at a different location right now, and she may pop in later with a surprise guest. So let's bring in our guy, Al. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Pick. Good to see you, Sid. Yes, I got to hear more than I want to hear about these Bulldogs, but I'm gonna deal with it today because we got college football. You must include them dogs. So I'm gonna deal with it today.
You can't leave them out like they did the college football playoffs last year. You can't do it.
You cannot. All
right, now listen. Our guest today is the Denton Day. You can hear him on the Kevin Sheehan Show. You can also hear him on college football radio, Sirius XM, after the last college football day football game. Hey, let's bring in Denton Day. How are you,
fellas? What's going on, man? Happy to be here.
Yeah, we are really, really good. Like I said, we got a lot to get into. And let's say what's up to the chat real fast. I know you guys are out there because I can see you, but we got two people in the chat right now. We got Bruce Glass. He says, good evening to everyone. And then Don comes in with this patent as Mr. I know I have to answer the question of the day, the question of the month, I'm sorry, as well as Denton Day. So since we're on that topic, let's get right into it right now with our first blocking.
Yeah.
All right. So our question of the month is the first thing that's up, which is Denton, your top 5 Olympic moments of all time.
Yeah, so I'm a big Olympic fan, fellas. I grew up, I know some people nowadays maybe don't love the Olympics, but I grew up, glued to my television every time the Summer Olympics were on. It's definitely difficult to narrow it down to 5, but I'll do my best. In no specific order, I think Michael Phelps in 2008, when in the butterfly race, it looked like he was going to lose. He's going for 8 gold medals, and then even when I watch the race now, there are times where I still don't think he got to the wall first, but watching him get to the wall first, I mean, that has to be, if I'm narrowing it down, that's probably the first one that immediately comes to mind. I was huge on the Redeem team. I was not old enough to see the Dream team, unfortunately, but I saw the disaster in Athens and then getting Kobe, LeBron, and D Wade all on the floor and some of the things that they were able to do. I have such fond memories of that half-court alley-oop that Kobe threw to D Wade while he's like falling out of bounds. It was one of the more insane things that you'll ever see in a game. So just that entire Redeem team run, I think honestly, what happened a couple of days ago with Noah Lyles, I've been such a huge fan of Noah Lyles. I didn't run against him in high school. He would have destroyed me, but I knew of him while he and I were both in high school in Northern Virginia. So to see him go from a young runner at TC Williams to now winning the gold medal at the Olympics is insane. And I was so proud of him. So I think Noah Lyles winning the way that he did the other day is right up there. Usain Bolt breaking the world record while jogging for the final 10 meters in Beijing in 2008. Yeah. And then my favorite race of all time is the 2012 4x100 meters. Team USA and Jamaica side by side on that final baton handoff. And I mean, Usain Bolt was right next to an American, and then he was not right next to an American anymore. Nope. And anytime you get two teams breaking Olympic records in the same race, I think is incredibly insane. And then Jamaica went on to set the world record. So that is my favorite track race of all time. So that's definitely on the list.
So I have to answer this question. So first off, right off the rip, Michael Johnson with the gold shoes is in my top 5 as well. The 400 and the 200, he was a monster. He's still legit in track for me. I was a long jumper too as well. So Carl Lewis back in the day doing the long jump was amazing to me. Now I'm gonna switch sports. So I'm gonna go Olympics real fast. You remember Tanya Harding? Like that, you cannot forget that, as bad as it was. But I think that was like the trials, right? That was trials. But I think her name was
ice skating too. That was ice skating too.
Right, it's ice skating too. But it's Debbie Hamilton, I think was her name. She was an ice skater she was local, but the first Black ice skater that I remember seeing do it. Also, the Jamaican bobsled, but not for the fall, but for the finish because of the commitment that it took to come back after doing everything that she did. And then the other part of my favorite thing is actually the luge. So any luge, it's just crazy because it's like a fast roller coaster that your parents tell you shouldn't ride. So any luge for me. So those are my Olympic moments right there. Let's get right to why we have Denton here now because Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. Yeah, right. Let's get right to why we have Denton here. We're talking college football. Fed, how many days away are we from college football?
25.
Say it again.
25.
It's not coming fast enough. It's not coming fast enough. Say it. It is really not. It's taking its time.
Okay. Well, 25 for the teams that matter. How about that?
Nobody say because week 0
is
everybody else. Sooner, man. Yeah, 0 was a little quicker than that, man.
It's not coming fast enough. Listen,
before it's 25 long, for the teams that matter. They'll just put it out there like that.
We'll be sitting in front of our TVs watching college football from 12 noon to about 10, 11, somewhere around there. And Denton will be taking it all in. Denton, let's get right to it. As much as we want to talk about the start of football season, I want to know who are your Heisman contenders?
So there's a lot. I'm a man that plays the window a little bit, so I got a couple slips in, put my money where my mouth is. I've learned over the course of research and just history, the favorite coming into the season never wins. So, Dylan Gabriel, sorry, my friend, but you're not going to win the Heisman Trophy. The guy that I've fallen in love with this offseason that I didn't think I would, at the end of last season, his name was getting mentioned as watch out for him next year. And I was hesitant, but as I've kind of just paid attention more, I love the number that you're getting on Jalen Milroe at Alabama.
Yes.
In certain books, you can get him 15-1. And, Kalen DeBoer did such a good job taking Michael Penix, who was a good player at Indiana, and really stepping his game up. And I think if he takes all the positives that Jalen Milroe has and can build off of those, he's going to be an incredibly dynamic passer this year with Kalen DeBoer. So if you're getting him at 14-1, I'm loving Jalen Milroe. So he's my big pick right now. And then Cam Ward at Miami at potentially, 20-1. That's something I might sprinkle a little bit on too.
Jalen Milroe, quarterback for Alabama. You said that and Sayed's face just went, no. All right.
I love it. Denton. I love it already, man.
Let me get one more in there before we turn this over to Sayed real fast. All right. So, the Pac-12 is pretty much gone. What, those two teams out there, can they possibly make a playoff run?
No. They had a media day with an open bar, and that's the biggest win that they're going to get this year. It was two teams, but there was all the liquor you could want if you're out there in Vegas, wherever they had it. I feel bad for the two teams, but this is the way that college football works. It is a money-driven business now. I mean, it's always been that, but now it's just more public about how money-driven it is. And unfortunately, those two teams are on the outside looking in when it comes to these sorts of things. So I feel bad for them, but I just don't look at them as they don't play a tough enough schedule. Their championship isn't going to be valued nearly as highly as it was in the past. So I don't see either of those two teams getting in unless they do something just insane.
All right, say it.
Who was this in the chat been drinking already? It's too early to be just drunk already. who in the chat has been drinking like this?
Hey, their coach doesn't win.
I think that this would be one of the best college seasons ever. Had they went ahead and did this 1 year earlier like they were supposed to, last year would have been awesome. Because they decided to move it to this year and leave it at this year, but putting 12 teams into a playoff.
Oh, it's going to be chaos.
Those top 10 teams who have won 12-0 in their division, they ain't played nobody, and they're going to run into one of the powerhouses and they're going to get dusted off. And then there's no excuses. But don't get me wrong, there's always a Rudy somewhere in the bunch. It happens. But can that Rudy do it every week for multiple weeks to make it to the championship? That's the difference.
What you got to win? It's 12. 17. So what you got to win? 4. You got to win 4 games. You got to win 4 games.
17 games total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 12 teams playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you got? What you got? Say it.
Right. I mean, we can start where we want to start at. I mean, we can start at the top ranked teams for next year. We can start there. I mean, we can start Georgia being number 1 in returning starters, mostly because of the quarterback and the defense. We didn't lose that many pieces on defense, so you're returning the top safety, the top linebacker. You're bringing in a guy who's ranked number 1 at cornerback, and they're raving about him. He's popping up all over the place. You got Carson Beck at quarterback. Now he got pieces. He ain't just got one piece. He got pieces. They say Kobe Young is high jumping everybody in the red zone. What you gonna do with him? And I mean, it is what it is. You got ETN. ETN ain't seen the offensive line like the one he finna run behind this year. He has not.
Speaking of that offensive line, Denton, what are you hearing about that offensive line that Georgia has this year?
I mean, I'll tell you what, Kirby Smart, if he can do nothing else, he can recruit an offensive line, he can recruit a defensive line. So the fact that they're bringing a bunch of the guys back that they had last year, not everybody, but the fact that they're bringing a bunch of guys back, it is a real luxury in the world of college football now, which is constantly changing and constantly in flux with the portal, guys going in, guys going out. To be able to bring back a majority of the big uglies is huge. It takes so much pressure off of a guy like Carson Beck. I mean, you're expecting him to take another step forward. And said, as you mentioned, there's a lot of pieces offensively for Georgia that they're going to have. And adding ETN, not just taking him from an SEC rival, but now adding a skill position guy back there is going to be huge. But those big uglies, man, that's what separated Georgia from everybody else over the past 4 or 5 years since they've really been building the foundation of what is now the era of Kirby Smart, especially with Nick Saban out of here. So they're going to be a tough team to beat in the trenches. Now their schedule's tough. They got a couple of tough ones on that docket, but you got to go in there and beat them. You got to smash them in the mouth. And there's not a lot of teams in the country that are willing to do it.
Al?
I won't go into the top tier teams. What I'll start with is the Michigan situation. They're returning national champions. Coaches in a little bit of the hot seat. Does the NCAA actually have teeth to enforce any penalties on Michigan? Then, and next question is, how many teams do you see coming in that potential 12-team playoff? Do you see coming out of just the Big 12? I'm sorry, the Big 10 and the SEC?
So we'll answer the playoff question first. I think you're getting at least 3 out of the Big 10. You're going to get Ohio State. You're going to get Oregon. And then the question is, who's next? It could be Penn State. It could be Michigan. Michigan's in a really weird spot, as you mentioned, because now Sharon Moore is getting hit with some sanctions. And the reason that's taken place, Jim Harbaugh got suspended at the end of last year because Michigan essentially accepted an early suspension. And the thought was, if we suspend him now, you're not going to suspend him for the college football playoff games, the Big Ten championship, when we need him the most. But the investigation's been ongoing this entire offseason. So what they just found out, or they have been finding out, is that Sharon Moore had texts with Connor Stallions, and the whole Connor Stallions thing is a story that is both hilarious and tiring all at the same time. So now he's facing some sort of penalties. The nice thing for Michigan, as it relates to the college football playoff and the hopes of getting there, the NCAA doesn't technically acknowledge the college football playoff, so they really can't suspend you for it, and they can't take trophies away for it, because you can't take trophies away for something you technically, as an organization, don't recognize and don't think exists. So they're going to be good in that regard. It's just going to be, what is the offense going to look like? They lose so much on defense. They lose so much on offense. They lose basically an entire coaching staff, because Harbaugh took all the defensive guys with him to Los Angeles. So they certainly have an uphill climb, but I like their odds just based off of the foundation that they built. Now, you asked about the SEC. They're getting no less than 4 teams in. You're going to get Georgia in. More likely than not, you're going to get Texas in. There's a very strong chance you're going to get Alabama in. And then you're looking at teams like LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and then maybe Texas A&M, right? So like they're
Ole Miss.
Oh yeah,
Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin got a nice squad.
Ole Miss is not to be played with.
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to be silly this year.
I know Lane Kiffin is one of those mad geniuses, but he usually falters towards the end of the football season.
I got something for you. As you were talking about Michigan, Michigan's only returning 6 players. 1 on offense, 4 on defense, and all special teams, probably a punter or a kicker one, so it don't make a difference. Ole Miss returning 16 starters, the starting quarterback. They also got the number 1 defensive lineman transfer portal from Texas A&M and Walter Nolan.
And they got plenty of money.
Them boys,
NIL.
Them boys build a defense this all season. Ole Miss is going to surprise some people.
They're going to benefit the most from the 12-team playoff, because you're right,
exactly.
They do falter down the end of the season. But now with 1 loss, 2 losses, you can still finagle your way into the college football playoff, because a lot of it's going to be based off the eye test. And the committee changes every single year. But one thing that is consistent is they love the SEC. And I can't blame them. It's the best conference in football, and it's been that way for decades.
Well, then me and Sayed, we're going to go to that Georgia-Texas game. We're just going to cook out, you know what I mean? We're going to tailgate. So you're more than welcome to come on down. We're just going to tailgate, because them tickets, unless we talk to somebody heavenly or get a great sponsor to get us in that game, them tickets starting off in the nosebleed seats. I think they was like $500 a piece. So yeah, that's the nosebleed where you get to see the scoreboard. You get to see the scoreboard. The scoreboard looks like an ant. So that's about those. Right. You're gonna need all of that. The Pac-12. That's a lot of teams defected from the big. I'm sorry.
Pac-2.
I'm talking Big 12, Big 12 now, not the Pac-12. Let teams that defected from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. Coach Prime said he's coming to win, right? Who do you see coming out? Give me your top 3 teams out of that the Big 12.
The first one is Utah. They return Cam Rising coming back from injury. And if you love like old school hard-nosed college football, Kyle Whittingham's your guy. That guy is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They're going to hit you in the mouth. That is a physicality that is fun and exciting to watch. So you're looking at Utah. As much as their head coach is an idiot, Oklahoma State is set up to be pretty good this year. It's better when Mike Gundy talks less about things not involving football, but the way that their roster is built, Ollie Gordon III is one of the best players coming into this college football season, and he's going to put that on display again. So I really like Oklahoma State. And then I'm kind of torn on who that third team is. I like Arizona bringing back Noah Fafita. Now they lose their coach to Washington with Jed Fish going over there, but I really like some of the guys that they're bringing back offensively, and they had that taste of winning big games late in the season and kind of being the thorn in the side of a couple teams in the Pac-12 last year. Now you're walking into a conference that's relatively wide open, so they're pretty dangerous. And then if you would have told me I was saying this 3 years ago, I would have never believed you, but I kind of like Kansas. They're bringing back Jalen Daniels, not Jaden. Love Jaden Daniels, but they're bringing back Jalen Daniels, and their coach Lance Leipold is one of the best in the business. By the time another Big Ten SEC job opens, his name's going to be all over it. So I think they're a team that could surprise a couple people in the Big 12.
How about Nebraska? Can Nebraska make any noise?
I got one of my biggest bets, Al, is Nebraska over 7.5. on the wins. I love Dylan Raiola, and Matt Rule is a college football coach. It didn't work in Carolina in the NFL, but that dude is a college football coach. If the freshman quarterback works out, you better watch out for Nebraska.
Okay. He went to Nebraska. He didn't want to compete, but we're going on another subject. Nebraska is bringing back 19 players. I was doing the top 10 for I was going into depth into the top 10, how they released the top 10 college football teams. Penn State is like 9 because Penn State was bringing like 16. Mm-hmm. Ahead of Penn State was Nebraska, bringing back 19 people. But Nebraska lost the offensive lineman today. As it scrolled across my screen, I think it was ACL.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well they can plug that hole, but I think Raiola, he didn't come to Georgia because he wanted instant playing time, which is nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nothing wrong.
He's just not getting it at Georgia.
He's just not gonna know.
Yeah,
no, they just gave Carson Beck Lamborghini money. Hey, pick. What does Carson Beck drive? Lamborghini. He bought it at the end right on the screen.
I'm not even rich enough to say the first part of that. I just call it a guinea.
So them boys is doing their thing, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting though. I think he is, like you said, he is a great college coach, and he does get the most out of guys. Usually defensively, usually defense first, but the offense can respond because the offense was kind of shaky going down the stretch last year in games they were close to winning that they lost at the end. So if Raiola can come in and do that, then yeah, they'll be well.
Give us a couple of names, Denton, and say it if you can about like we all fall in love with the skill positions, right? Give us a couple of names. Who is the next legit wide receiver coming out this year?
There's two that are easy. I mean, half of it depends what position Travis Hunter is going to play in the NFL. Yeah. But if he plays wide receiver, he is right at the top. That dude is a freak of nature athletically. The fact that he can even in college play 120 snaps in a single game against a Power 5 school is insane. Once they kind of specialize what he's going to do, I mean, that dude has ball skills. He can go up and get it. He's not afraid of contact. I mean, he is going to be a really good wide receiver if that's the decision that he makes at the NFL. And then my favorite wide receiver this year, not named Travis Hunter, is Luther Burden III at Missouri. I think he could have come out this year and been a first-round pick. It's just you were so loaded with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors that waiting another year gives him an opportunity to continue to get better, but it also kind of gives him an opportunity to get a nicer draft selection and a little more money in the pocket. But I think he's going to be really, really good. Missouri is a team that could surprise a couple of people again this year if their quarterback Brady Cook stays healthy.
Non-SEC people, that is.
Yeah, non-SEC people. The SEC people, no.
They in that West. You lucky they in that West, Sid.
There is no West anymore.
Yeah, no. They broke that up. Okay, Sid, you got some names for us?
One of the guys coming out of Oregon. Hold on, Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson. Below the radar because he had so much talent in front of him, But he still put up. He put up 1,182 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. But he was under the radar for a lot of people, because there was so many targets, so many people breaking runs and getting out of there. What's his name? The young man that transferred to Georgia from Vanderbilt. He has a potential because he's another one of those guys that's under the radar. Nobody's really paying attention to him, even though he led Vanderbilt in receptions last year. But he's coming to a team that's not known for giving one person a lot of reps. But where it is, he's filling right into that Ladd McConkey role that Ladd McConkey had last year. Always catch those passes right in the middle and take off. So that's another guy you look at as under the radar.
All right, Al.
Couple questions again there, Denton. One, how was Shedeur saying this was potentially the number one pick, as they're saying next year, be this upcoming year, as well as will Colorado be the hype machine that runs out of oil again this year, or will they be able to be a legitimate bowl team?
They should be a bowl team. I hope they pace themselves a little bit better with some of the hype machine. I think it'll be easier for them if they're not the most talked about team for the first month. As far as Shedeur is concerned, the kid is talented. You just have to have somebody to block for him. because towards the end of last year, I mean, he is running for his life. And, I know everybody loves to kind of imitate elements of Patrick Mahomes where you're just kind of running around and making plays happen. But it's much better when that's a luxury and not a necessity. So they have to have guys to block for him because they have the talent. I mean, obviously, if you got Travis Hunter playing wide receiver, those two have a connection. We saw that at times last year when both of them were healthy. So I really like elements of Shedor's game. I just want to continue to see that at this level. And their schedule sets up for them to win 6, 7, potentially 8 games if they win a swing game or two in there. But they definitely need to pace themselves as it relates to being the face and the focal point of college football.
And Deion's good at pacing himself. So let
me go ahead and say this. Deion has turned on the hype machine for his son. He has early on saying that he should be a top 5 quarterback pick, possibly the number 1. He said that toward the end of the year and coming into this year. The thing about the problem with that is offensive line, like he said. And he did. There were times where he made bad reads and he made bad passes, partially because he was tired running for his life. It is what it is. What Colorado problem is, they're in disarray. You have kids who came there and played last year that are like, I don't have time for this. We're leaving. They feel in some type of way. I mean, we're not going to get the inside story because we're not there. Those kids aren't saying, they're just leaving. And then Shedeur, he throwed a couple shots at some people. You don't want to be here, you ain't got to be here, yada yada yada. But and still, you still have to feel the team. You know what I'm saying? You still got to feel the team. And if you look at the beginning of the schedule, North Dakota State, possibly win, Nebraska. In Nebraska.
That's going to be a game. That's going to be a telltale.
You already heard what I said. Nebraska got 19 returning starters. You heard what I said. 19 returning starters. So that's an early test for them. That's going to be an early test for them. And then they come out with Colorado State. Did Colorado State not push them to the edge last year?
They beat them last year.
They pushed them. And then, then you got Baylor. Baylor's known for a tough defense. Baylor's still in rebuilding mode. And then UCF. They like to put up points. Yeah. So, you're going to know early on how much, Prime has left because, they got some early tests. And you got Utah and Kansas and OSU at the end of the season. That could possibly push you out of the playoffs. Those 3 losses could possibly push you out of the playoffs. But those 3 wins could possibly put you into the playoffs.
Well, playoffs for Colorado shouldn't even be a goal, I don't think. That's just me personally. I think, like I said, Denton said 6, 7 wins. I'm pulling for Deion, but I don't even think that. I mean, I know they can tell the team what they want, but I don't think the playoffs should even really be a realistic goal for Colorado because the Big 12 is going to get a conference champion in and maybe one more, but I don't see a lot coming out of the Big 12. In the playoffs.
If they make the playoffs, if you thought the hype machine was bad last year when Dwayne is showing up to College Game Day and Lil Wayne's popping up, it's going to be insufferable if they make the playoffs. They're going to have everybody. They'll resurrect Tupac and get him out there.
Hey, don't say it because Tupac he's really not. He's just hanging out.
He's really not dead.
He's really not dead. He's just hanging out in Compton. All right. So, what is your game of the year this year? Like, who's your possible game of the year?
I mean, there are a couple. There's really a couple in week 1 that I really like, and one of those happens to involves the Georgia Bulldogs. You got Georgia and Clemson. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by Penn State and West Virginia in week 1. It's tough to pick a game of the year now, just because you don't know who is going to be good and who is not. I mean, if Michigan is good again this year, you're looking at Ohio State and Michigan again, and then potentially Ryan Day coaching for his job, because unless he loses to Michigan and then goes and wins a national championship, if you lose 4 years in a row, that Ohio State fan base, someone is going to put up enough money to say, we'll buy you out of the contract. I don't believe he should get fired, but that's just the way the college football rolls nowadays. So that's one that's certainly circled. It's my favorite game of the year every single year, at least for the past 3 years. And then you never know with Alabama and LSU. Night game in Baton Rouge, things get wonky around those parts. So there's a lot of the new matchups in the SEC, Georgia and Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma. I mean, if you're not sitting down in front of the television for those later on in the season, you're going to be missing out.
Wait, let's not forget the Texas OU. You know what that game will mean now?
Yeah, it made me see right. Oh yeah, Red River Valley always means
Red
something.
River Rivalry is always something. Yep.
Hey, now it's in the SEC. Oh, that game means a lot.
Hey,
It
Dan,
means a lot now.
Bruce Glass said, "Who wins the Big 12?"
I like either Utah, Oklahoma State, or a long shot at Kansas.
yeah. How about USC? Let's give the West Coast a little love. USC moving into the Big Ten this year as well. Is Lincoln Riley a bust of a hire, or is he a real coach, man? I mean, we know he's the offensive coordinator, but is he a real head coach? That's a question a lot of people ask.
I'll tell you what, I don't bet a lot of unders in college football. I bet they're under. That number was 7.5. And I mean, you talk about a team that struggles with physicality, and you look at the Big Ten where they're masters of physicality. Yeah. Lincoln Riley doesn't tackle in practice. And like to an extent, I get that when you have Caleb Williams. Exactly. If you're not tackling in practice, you're not going to tackle in games. And if you can't tackle in the Pac-12, what are you going to do in the Big Ten when everybody is as physical as they come? So I don't love what Lincoln Riley has going on this year. I mean, maybe this Miller Moss kid really turns into something. But as far as USC goes right now, this is kind of a prove-it year for Lincoln Riley. You don't have the Heisman Trophy winning, generational quarterback in Caleb Williams. So what are you without him?
All right. Last question.
Wait. And what he hated the most is going against teams that are physical, and he tried his best not to play any SEC teams ever. Guess who their kickoff game is against?
Alabama, right?
LSU
on Sunday night. Only game on TV.
Night, 6:30. So
that might be
Barry
good.
Alexander, if he want to make
himself some money, that might be good
because he went out there. Had he stayed in Georgia, I'm not knocking nobody for taking their money. Had he stayed in Georgia, he would have been out of the league last year. He would have been in the NFL.
Love your DC hat there. Love your DC hat there, Denton. Listen, I got a question for you. Me and Sid, we usually make these predictions before. I put a little something to the side for this just in case. Maryland under or over number, which way should I go? And I know Sid is asking about Georgia's number. Which way should he go?
Georgia over for sure. I think it's 10.5, but with the college football playoff factor into that, Georgia over is going to hit relatively easily. Oh, Maryland. What are you seeing the current number at? It's fluctuated a couple of different books. I think I saw it at 7.5. It might be 6.
I saw it at 7. I was hoping it would drop down to 6 so I could play it at 7.
Yeah, if it's 6.5, I love it. If it's 7.5, maybe spend that money that you put to the side elsewhere. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow if it's 7.5.
Right. I love what Locks is doing by building up the offensive defensive line, and I'm thinking you get a couple of wins versus USC, who's not going to play that physical. But I don't think you still have the speed to keep up with the Oregon. I don't even know if they play them this year or not right now, but
they do.
I think he's headed in the right direction with the team. It's just that they have to stay patient with Locks and let him do what he's doing and continue to recruit the way he's doing.
Plus, find a quarterback.
That's the biggest part right there. Denton, thank you for doing this with us, man. We really do appreciate it. We got to have you back sometime during the college football season and see where we are as far as our Heisman standings, wide receivers, and things like that.
Fellas, appreciate it as always. Always a good time. I'll talk to you.
All right. That was Denton Day, our guy Denton Day. We really do appreciate Denton for bringing us some great college football knowledge, as well as you. Don't forget, you can catch Denton Day on the Kevin Sheehan Show Monday through Fridays. I think it's East Coast time, and I'm thinking in my head it's 9 o'clock in my head, so it's 8 o'clock East Coast or 10 o'clock East Coast time. I think this week he's with our guy Doc Walker. I'm sorry, I just saw your question. It just popped up to us on this side over here. It says, "How does Denton feel about all these whack?" Come on, I don't know. We'll have to ask that one. Yeah, we'll have to ask that next time.
About all these out of whack conferences.
Yeah, because they are all out of whack. With West Coast teams being in the Big Ten.
Well, I just think even we can almost answer that. It's the changing tide, man. It's going to go with who can bring the money, who can bring the eyes, and who can make them get another bid to raise their TV contract. We know what it's all about. And that's why the Pac-10, which is crazy because they out there in bid with Fox, and they don't get a contract done for that conference. So now they're the Pac-12 with the Pac-2, and Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Washington are in the Big Ten. Makes no sense geographically wise.
Nope,
but it makes plenty of sense.
Way, no.
It makes plenty of sense money wise.
Like they're not getting no automatic bid either.
Who?
Them two that's left.
Oh no, I don't even know why they even calling the. I thought the conference had dissolved. It doesn't even make sense to have because they don't have. It's two teams. How can you have a 2-team conference? They're trying to get.
They got left looking to keep the conference together. Everybody else was looking for the exit, and they was in a trap room. They was in one of those trap rooms.
And who?
Escape room.
It's Stanford and who is left? Because I know those two teams are trying to. Stanford and somebody's trying to get picked up by the ACC.
I want to say it's Washington.
No, Washington
State.
Washington
State. I think that's who's the Pac-2 right now. We didn't get to ask Denton about NFL division winners, but it's okay because on this Saturday we have our guy Travis Thomas coming in. So yeah, let's we'll hold that question until Saturday with Travis. And Travis, please have your notebooks, your pens and papers ready because Travis, y'all know when he comes, he's gonna drop some jewels on you and give you some things to bet on. And Bruce Glass, I know you're going to be in there also because Bruce told us last year that Houston was going to win a division, and I'd be damned if Houston didn't win a division. Okay, let's go to the roundabout. All right, so roundabouts are built to slow traffic but keep the flow of traffic moving, so that's what we are going to do right now. We are going to slow down just a bit, but we're going to keep this train running. Let's talk a little bit of Olympics. No allows in the 100. Just like Denton said, no allows in the 100. Man, oh man, was this an exciting race? Al, I know you had to have your eyes glued to it.
My favorite race, that's my favorite race in all of sports, and all of track and field.
An 8-man race, and in the steel frame or the photo finish, you had everybody but one guy vying for the win. Well, not really. But you know what I mean? Everybody was in that picture. I mean, besides Usain Bolt blowing everybody out and setting a record, this had to be the most exciting 100 in I want to say about the last 20 years.
I think the most telling part of that is all 8 guys would have beat Carl Lewis's time of 9:92 when he won. So that shows you how fast the races was. One of how competitive the races was. And the fact that you had, like you said, all 8 guys within 0.2 seconds of each other, it was a fantastic race, man. And like I said, it shows how staying the pace. People think when you're running and everything along those lines, but I love Noah Lyle's confidence. I loved his patience. I loved his sticking to the plan. He knows he was going to be behind. He expected to be behind.
Yep.
And he kept driving. The fact that he finished faster, he finished accelerating while all other 8 racers finished decelerating. Were huge for his racing. That just shows you that it's a game plan to the 100. It's not just guys out there running. And I think, like I said, I give kudos to Noah Lyles, man. I know he's been through a lot. I'm hard on the guy a lot of the times with a lot of friends off the show in regards he got to show improve and this, that, and the other. But like I say, he stepped up to the plate. He ran a hell of a race, and he's a local guy, so I'm definitely going to pull for him. As much as we used to beat up on TC Williams when we raced him back in the day. But they was always the best of Virginia. Don't get me wrong.
It was always
especially Northern Virginia. I mean, they got ahead of a guy named.
When you saw them TC Williams colors come through, you knew you was in for a race, though.
Well, they used to always have some illegal kids there too, man. They was old. I remember a guy named Carlos Samuels. He was Allen guy. Remember him?
Yeah.
He ran for him back in the day, man. He had to be about 25 when he was running in high school. but like I said, TC, man, like I said, they were a huge high school, so they had 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 kids in the daggone high school. So the pool of athletes they had to pull from was tremendous and so much better. But we took care of business. But I'm getting sidetracked. But no, like I said, I'm just definitely proud of a local guy, man, showing improvement, man. And like I said, he didn't win a race up to the final race. And that just shows you, man, like I said, it's not which one you win. It's definitely which one you win and then how you win. Like I said, he definitely ran through chest first, man, with a great.
Is this 200?
That's something I learned that I did not know.
Yeah, chest.
It's the chest I thought it was the first piece that crossed the line. I didn't know that.
Nope.
I'm not saying a lie. I said I knew. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I learned
that's
something.
Your torso.
That's
you see guys reaching, putting their heads through, and all those things. And that's actually where the guy Thompson from Jamaica lost the race.
Yep.
He went so far low that he lost the stride. And
that's why they told us.
Like I said,
that's why they told us not to dive. Remember, people would try to dive across the line because you diving across the line. They say run through it. It's the fastest way to win because you run through that line.
You lose your acceleration. It causes you to decelerate.
Yep. Is his 200 tonight?
No, I was just actually I got it on Saturday. I didn't see it. I think it's tomorrow because they're running the 400 semis. And the women's 200 final was today, and I'm not sure if it's on the same day. I haven't seen anything on the run through.
Yeah,
I didn't see
the women's 200 final was today. I had a chance to run to watch the Olympics. I was letting it, build up a little bit because I got fast through commercials.
well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I got a dog in that women's race. I do. I got a dog in that women's race.
In the 200 race?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Well, she already would. What's her name? What's the girl name? She already won today. She blew the whole pack out.
Yeah, she killed him. So she's
Thompson,
beautiful, bro.
Thompson, I think her name is
Thompson. Yeah, Thompson. She's beautiful. She is flawless, bro. She's
flawless. Man,
she won yesterday.
Yeah, well, it's Aaron today.
No, that St. Lucian chick ain't won no punk now. She had put them down. The one that ran 100.
Did she win the 200?
Oh, I know she won one of the heats yesterday in the 200.
Oh, okay.
She won one of the heats yesterday in 200. She did the same thing in 200. She pulled away the arrow. So yeah.
All right.
Olympics, but like I said, if gymnastics is finally over, that's like I said, I'm sure that may mess with viewership, but they're getting to the nitty gritty. To me, the best of the basketball finals, women's and men's, track and field finals. Like I said, this is what the Olympics. A lot of the Olympics got so many sports. They start, I guess, and that's a good thing. They give you a lot to look at early, and I think people they've captivated the audience. Now we got a couple more. They got this last stretch, man. They got to hold us through till we get the preseason till we get the football and college.
That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do is hold the stretch until we get there. Speaking of soccer, the U.S. women's soccer team
hell of a game today.
1-0 over Germany. Man, these ladies are tough because this German team came out. They was putting bodies on them. Said like you would have thought they was playing rugby at first because they was putting bodies on these U.S. women, and they are absolutely doing their best with a young team. Which leads me to this. I don't know how y'all feel, and we can get off of this here in a real quick second. But the men's basketball team, everyone's complaining about, Tatum not playing, Halliburton not, Halliburton not getting the run. I feel like they are the next generation to carry us through, along with Ant. I think Ant's going to be that dog. So Ant-Man's getting time, right? Now Tatum's getting time, but I think that Ant, Halliburton, Tatum, I think those are the next wave of like your Kevin Durant's, your LeBron's, your Carmelo's, your Michael Jordan's, your Magic Johnson. I think that these guys are the next ones. Let me know what y'all think. Is it a big deal that they're not getting that much time, or are they being groomed to carry the next wave of U.S. Olympic basketball players?
No, it's nobody should be upset because if you really watch the men's basketball this year, you have noticed that there's been a different big score in every game, and Curry is going with the person that's hot. Embiid was ice cold in game one. He gave him 2 chances. He was like, you know what? I got to put you on the bench. And that's what he did. Let Steve Kerr run the team where he run the team. Those guys, this is a team game. We're not out here for individual accolades. This is a team game. Kevin Durant came in their first game. He was El Fuego. He didn't pull him out. He hot. Everybody started referring to the guy that was hot. That's what they do. This is a team game. If you're going and you're this probably people got money down anyway. If you're going looking for your individual player to put up stats, this is not the game. Right. Who was the hot man? Well, I haven't watched it yet. I don't know who the hot man today was. The USA against Brazil. Who was the hot man today?
It was absolutely
Because I haven't watched it yet.
Kevin Durant had 11.
No, it was very balanced scoring. Booker started off. He was hot early.
I think Booker finished with 19.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You had Kevin Durant in one game. You had Ant-Man in one game. You had Booker in one game. You know, these guys are professional players. This is a team game. We're gonna go with the best team first and rotate people in. Steve Kerr is doing an excellent job. I don't care what nobody say. Until they lose, and they're not just beating guys. They beating guys like the dream team. You know,
not quite, but
they putting up points.
Handily beating guys.
They driving these guys. They taking hearts out and they kicking them when they down. They talking about these guys are playing for points because the points matter. Okay, we're gonna show you about these points. We're gonna beat y'all by 20 still.
That's what they're supposed to do. All right. So does it matter? I mean, does it matter? My question is, are they being groomed? Do you think that these guys, you know, Halliburton and Jason Tatum, along with, don't forget his boy got left off, Brown, who I think is a real dog that'll probably be on the next team. Do you think they being groomed for Team USA?
Who said to me? You talking
about? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you know. Yeah, no. I think you just have a conglomerate of talent, man. I mean, not on Jason Tatum's part, but I think for Halliburton, granted he was the third team all NBA, but if you look at the team, in international basketball is different. So is he being groomed? Yes, he's definitely being groomed. Is he going to be the future of the NBA's future World Championships, Olympic teams? Yes, him, like you said, Ant-Man, him definitely. Tatum, all these guys. They're 26, 24. Yep. These guys are young. This is the last hurrah for the guys like Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. So you're talking about
Anthony Davis. This is Anthony Davis' probably last run.
No, he's 29. I think he'll still have it. I think you have that second tier guys who's between LeBron and them, but not young as Anthony, who's going to continue like a Bam Adebayo. Like you said, Anthony Davis. Booker, he's older, he's a vet. He's like 27, 28, but he's a vet. He's been in the league since he was 19, 8-9 years in the league. So he's not as young as Halliburton and Ant-Man, but he's that bridge as well with the guys they can continue to build upon, with the superstar being, like you said, the lead being Ant-Man. But like I said, it's a different game. The international people, if you look at the international basketball game, it looks nothing like an NBA game. It's all about, and it's 8 minutes shorter. That's another reason. That 8 minutes makes a lot of difference with regards to time when you're trying to play a 12-man roster. No NBA team plays a 12-man roster. I mean, so you're asking Steve Kerr to do something in the Olympics that he doesn't do at any other point in his coaching year or coaching most of the time in his coaching career. He's not playing a 12-man roster. He may be playing 8, 9 at the most, and you got 8 shorter minutes. So is it a big deal they're not playing? Not really. It's something to talk about, I think, for the media or the people to talk about and to try to make controversy. But I think these guys, like said, Steve Kerr, they've had a different leader score every game. He's riding a hot hand, which is what you're supposed to do as a coach, and they're winning convincingly. And anybody who has a problem with that, they don't know basketball, definitely don't know international basketball.
Yep. And you know what I forgot to mention? One of the most dynamic players I haven't even brought up out of Oklahoma City, SJA. He a bad man. He's not even on this team. So you got Brown, SJA not on this team. We ain't even talking about Spider.
SJA played for Canada though. He got knocked
out. That's right. He is Canadian. That's right. He's Canadian. And we haven't even talked about Spider Mitchell, who I believe was hurt.
Donovan Mitchell would have been. Dame Lillard could have been on this team. You got a lot of guys. You don't been on defense, but you got a lot of guys.
But that's the thing is you have to play defense. Even the women know. How did the women's basketball team do? The women's basketball team has they survived and advanced.
They won.
Them ladies absolutely know the reason that they're winning gold is because of how dominant they are on defense. Their defense leads their way, which is what the men had to learn anyway. But the women are doing just as well. And it's a lot of women that got left off that basketball team. So, but you got a couple that's retiring off of there too.
That team lost to the WNBA All-Stars. It shows you the depth of that women's basketball team, man, and league, man. So you got to take that into account. And like they'll be fine, man. Like I said, but like you said, pick defense is important. That's why Derek White and Drew Holiday, they're not prolific all stars, but they're a perfect fit. You need the garbage men. You need the guys who gonna go down and dirty and who going to get you the buckets and do the things that some of these superstars and set that tone. They're your tone setters, and that's why you got Drew starting and you got Derek White coming off the bench with the second squad.
Hey, I don't know what you talking about. Drew Holiday is a winner. My man.
He's a winner. I didn't say he was a winner.
He's a winner.
He's a great locker room and a great team guy because he straps up. That's what I said. He sets the tone for them guys. He hit 94 feet or 93 feet because of course a little shorter. But like I said, he straps them up he sets the tone for that starting lineup. In regards to getting right. Yes.
Who's had a better Holiday than a better basketball season than Drew? NBA championship, on his way to a gold medal right now, and has been a pivotal part of both of those things right now. Now, since we're going to stay in a roundabout right now, and here's the question because it's coming this week. Well, absolutely. Last week we had football. We had the Hall of Fame game, which was shortened because of severe thunderstorms and things like that. But we play football in rain.
Lightning.
But not lightning. Exactly.
Not lightning balls.
Jimmy Butler. Okay, before we switch over to football, I'm gonna answer this question from Cuzzo right here. He says, "What's up, guys? So, what do you think about Jimmy Butler? What do you have worked out on the team? Jimmy is a team dude anyway. He plays defense and offense, and he gives you everything that he wants. I call him Jimmy buckets. Some other people call him Himmy buckets, but Jimmy give you everything he got, no matter what, when he's playing."
Yeah, but I think he doesn't work on his team because he doesn't shoot the three ball well. We got guys that can defend and do the mid range that he does. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. But the international ball is about the three ball because the line's a little bit shorter than the NBA 3-pointer, and you got to pick and pop, and that's not Jimmy's game. So he's a great player, but I think you have better options on this team that he would be a better fit with they have than he would have been. So that's just my opinion.
All right. So
Thursday.
We got football this Thursday, Friday.
I didn't think they can't. No, I said no. They got games on Thursday.
Yeah, we got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe Sunday, as well as Monday night. So my question to you guys is: last week we saw that the Chicago Bears decided not to play Caleb Williams, and I'm not just talking quarterbacks here. I'm not literally just talking quarterbacks, but I'm talking rookies, right? Do rookies need to play now? I'm going to say this. I'm going to caveat this. Some coaches will hold their rookies out because they don't want to show what they have, right? They'll let them get a little run. They won't throw them the ball, things like that. Special weapons. Like I remember Terry McLaurin. We never saw him in the preseason. We saw him on the field. He didn't get no passes, and then they unleashed him game 1 versus Philly. So should rookies play in the preseason is the question. Y'all in the chat, let me know what y'all think as well. Sid, we're going to start it off with you.
Oh, yeah. It's a difference. It's a difference when you progress well enough to where you don't have to play. But in week 1 of preseason, the Bears holding Caleb Williams out, Now,
they did have the extra game. Let's be fair.
I mean, they did have an extra game. But that's one of them things where you could have got them extra snaps out early and just put him on the side and just let him chill going down the stretch. Whereas you're going to put him in a game where these guys have played 2 or 3 games and they've gotten their feet under them and what they want to do. So then, if he goes out and struggles in game 2 or 3, and you're like, wait a minute, we only got, because we only got that one game. He only got the one time that one game. So now you're carrying the same struggle he did from a preseason game with limited defensive aspects, because there are no exotic defenses in preseason.
Preseason, no.
It's pretty plain. And then you get in week 1, and you hadn't played him but a few snaps, and he struggled, and he going up against a team, Wink Martindale, that loves to rush the passer, run them linebackers back into them short slots, and then blitz people off the edge. He got to get rid of the ball. It makes a difference, I mean, a la Ritter. They didn't play him in game 1. I can speak for the Falcons. You know, they didn't play him. They didn't play him in week 1. In week 1 of preseason, they held him out. They held the offensive line out. Come to find out, offensive line is trash. So is he. He on the verge. He on the verge now. Matter of fact, Pick, because you wanted him, he on the verge of being out of the NFL. That's how bad he's looked.
Hey, said that was your quarterback. Okay, well, especially since y'all drafted.
I like the pick.
Y'all drafted his replacement already. So you drafted his replacement in Michael Penix Jr.
You could have had Carson Beck next year. Don't get me started with that.
That's one question.
Carson Beck. Oh,
that's one question I forgot to ask Denton was, what do you think of this year's quarterback class coming out next year? But maybe we can save that question for the next time we have Denton on, and he could tell us what it's going to look like. Al, should rookies play?
Well, I'm gonna ask you this question: do you take all the ladies you meet to the same restaurant?
No.
Therefore, all rookies should not play. It's some that should be left. Some rookies you do need to see, some you don't. And like I said, it wasn't going to how Caleb Williams and I even think Jaden Daniels, how they played this preseason is not going to matter about whether the day one starter.
No, it's not.
Now you're getting more reps, better reps in practice, and you gotta understand they don't want to show their hand either. So you have that chimed in too. They don't want to exactly show what they have planned in regards to the attack. I'm sure Kingsbury doesn't want to show if he's going to run heavy with Jay Daniels or he's going to throw. How well he throw. You give them more of a chance to put film, give defense more film, the game plan for those quarterbacks. You know the NFL, the defensive coordinators in the NFL are the best in the business, and they will come up with a scheme for any quarterback. And I think you're giving them more. You definitely give them some game reps in a couple of the preseason? Do you need to play them your top dogs and everyone? No, I think you need to see those marginal players, your trench guys. And a lot of the guys, your glue guys, you do need to see. But the guys you know who want to be your day one starters, I think you work them out and you get that work in practice, like the quarterbacks and some of these things. But like I said, and you also got to depend, I think a lot of the times with the Canton game, the field conditions had more to do with why a lot of guys didn't play in that game as well. So you got those type of things to think about. Also, will you get a good look? If you don't put the right rookie in there with the right surrounding cast, will you really get a good look at that guy? I mean, it's a lineman, yeah, but a wide receiver, no. If he doesn't have a quarterback that can get him the ball, how good can you see how good this guy can be? I mean, so it depends on the position, depends on the thing, but all rookies should play at some point. But every preseason game, no. Like I said, you got some you take the roof, Chris. You got some you take the chilies.
They're not necessarily getting better reps in practice.
What I mean is you can get more reps when they make a mistake. When they make it, they're not getting hit in the shoots. Right. They're not getting hit. Difference. I know, but once you get hit to get that jitters off, these guys be getting hit for 8, 9, 10 years. Getting hit ain't new. But I understand getting hit in the field may be a little new, but tackling, once you get the first tackle, get it all, then you get to your rhythm. But what I mean
the same way as boys club did.
You're right. You're right. They do get hit, but the difference is this: you're in the NFL, bigger, stronger, faster. That means that you're going against guys in 17 games that are bigger, stronger, faster. Not where Jay Daniels, you going against Vanderbilt where you got a chance to actually stand there and throw the ball. You're not getting hit. But when you're getting hit on play one,
not every game is required.
No, what I'm saying is when you get hit on play one, perfect example, from play one, you don't think man, this is play one, I'm getting hit. You don't think that does something to your mind?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say.
But see, this is what I say. When I say that's it, meaning they got 3 games. Right. Should they play in the first one? Probably not. The second 2, but in the first game, what you can find out is the rookies and the different players who are marginal, who may be in there in that second and third game. Can they play to protect that player?
I don't know, Al. Listen, we got 3 preseason games, right?
Right.
We got 3 preseason games. I think in that first one, you get a drive, right? You get a drive. If that's 4 plays, it's your job to get a first down. I'm just speaking offensively now, right?
I get you.
I could flip it to defense as well. If you're that defensive number one pick and you're a corner or safety, a lineman, whatever, it's your job to get 3 and out, and then I can sit you down, right?
I get you.
Show me what you can do in this limited amount, because that's what it's all about. Because not just the top picks, but even the bottom picks, you only have a limited amount of time to show what you can do.
We're saying kind of the same thing. You know,
right?
You got to make this roster down to a 53-man roster and 70 with practice squad. Yep. You got to cut this down. But what I'm saying is, you were saying the same thing. If he play in the first 2, he's probably not going to play in the third one. If he misses the first game, he's going to play a good bit in the second, and then maybe a half in the third. What I'm saying is, you got to make sure the reps are keeping them out of harm's way. One, but making sure the reps are going to give you good results of what you're looking for. If you're putting them out here with a whole bunch of rookies who are just as bad, like that second half of that game the other day,
Hall of Fame game,
Texas in the Bay Hall of Fame game, was no top rookie quarterback, whatever, is going to get good reps off that. That's what I'm saying. In regards, you got to make sure when you put them out there in harm's way for whatever reason, in regards to putting them in preseason, you got to make sure the reps you're getting is going to yield the results you're looking for, which is seeing what he can do.
Right, but don't forget also, just like we get in football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday.
Yeah,
that a lot of teams are going to these joint practices now, right? Where the coaches can control a whole lot more, but it's part of the player's responsibility. And I know you get to compete against somebody else and those competitive juices come out, but it's part of the player's job to make sure that practice goes. You get as much as you can out of that practice. No fights, because only thing that really does is take away from the time, the importance of this practice, and the reps that you can get. Besides, punching a helmet is stupid because only your hand could lose. You're not going to hit the person in the face.
But being a guy who's been in a few football team practice fights, you don't really think about the fact that you're hitting a helmet. You're just trying to hit him somewhere, undercut him under the helmet.
I remember grabbing a face mask or two and going and give him a couple of these.
Exactly.
Because I know what kind of chin strap you got.
But like I said, believe it or not, that's still, especially in the joint practices, that still builds team camaraderie. I mean, like I said, and these guys have been hitting on each other so much, it feels good to hit somebody else, man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's has a lot to do with it as well. But like you said, also the joint practices, you can get more out of going on ones against ones in a joint practice sometimes than you can in a mixed. Like I said, in a real scrimmage, a lot of your number ones aren't even going to play, especially if they're vets. You know what I'm saying? But in the mixed practice, you're going to get that vet in there. Like I said, Bobby Wagner probably won't play much of all in a preseason game this year. But in joint practices, he will.
That whole defense is new, but of course, they're not game planning. So maybe just to hear a little bit of communication, get 3 or 4, a couple snaps, get a lather on, get out of here, sit down, Bobby. We know what you got.
Bobby gonna have a towel around his neck every preseason game.
Yeah, he probably is. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer who knows his defense. He don't need to hit nobody. He's been hit enough. That's why you keep him out of harm's way, is what I'm saying. Now the rookies, like I said, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was finished.
All right. I was saying, speaking of, here we go. Now we have some unofficial depth charts coming out. So let's rep your squad real quick. You know what time it is. It's time to rep your squad, where you get to bring the latest and greatest about your teams and things of that nature. So here we go. The Washington Commanders put out their unofficial depth chart today. And surprise to nobody's surprised. Jayden Daniels is the number 1 quarterback. Number 2 is Marcus Mariota, followed by Jeff Driscoll and Sam Hartman. Brandon Coleman, I think he's a 3rd round pick, our 4th pick in the draft, is actually starting at left tackle. He's our left tackle. I noticed that we had some injuries there. Cornelius Lucas is now 2nd. And what they say, you can't make the club in the tub. And the other part of that thing is, if you don't want your backup to take your job, you keep him off the field and don't let his film get shown. So Cornelius Lucas, who was a great swing tackle, who's been a serviceable swing tackle for us, sort of Wally pipped himself. As far as the Washington Commanders go, offense, Terry at wide receiver, our third wide receiver, I can't even begin to pronounce his name. I'm gonna put his last name in the chat, and y'all just go with me from here because I can't do it. Here's my man's last name. Don't even. Yeah. I'm gonna butcher some things. He's in our slot wide right now. I did not mention Diami getting cut. Did Diami make the cut? Diami is second behind Terry as far as the wide receivers go, but also is Luke McCaffrey. He's the second team slot. Jameson Crowder, boom, boom, boom. That's what I'm gonna give you for offense right now. I'll come back to you guys with defensive surprises here in a little bit. Say it, what you got for Atlanta Falcons?
Of course, at starting quarterback, you got
Taylor Heineke.
Y'all boy Kirk Cousins with Michael Penix at the backup. So Heineke, he may get a little playing time. Then we got Bijan and Algiers, the stated two, they're already there. Wide receiver is going to be interesting with Darryl Mooney and Ray McCloud. Kadarius Hodge, who played with us last year, is now in his second string along with Rondale Moore. So that's going to be interesting as well. At tight end, you got Charlie Warner, University of Georgia, also Kyle Pitts. But Kyle Pitts is not slated to play in this game because they're going to make sure he's fresh,
fully healthy.
I mean, he's fully healthy, but they want to make sure nothing happen to him between now and then or whatever. Then you got baby arms, Chris Lindstrom at right guard, and Caleb McGarry. Let me start with them. But they got backups in Storm Norton and Kyle Hinton. I expect those guys to get some playing time. The right guard I don't trust the right guard. That's my personal thing. I haven't trusted him since they drafted him. Center is Drew Dahlman with Ryan Newsel as a backup. Matthew Bergeron, who played with us and they cut him. I guess they brought him back. Backed up by Javon Gwynn. Then you got legacy on the outside with Jake Matthews, who has his days where he struggles. But it's 4 deep. They got four people listed as.
Say it. Don got a question.
What?
It's right there. It's posted up. You see it?
Hey! I can only say what they said to me, Don. In the article I read, they said the dude has abnormally short arms for being as tall as he is. I didn't make this up. I'm not just saying this out of nowhere.
So what you saying is if he's 6'5", his wingspan should be equal, right? 6'5".
At least 6'5".
But you telling me his wingspan is 3'4".
5'10".
Pterodactyl arms.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Tyrannosaurus Rex arms.
But the thing is, he struggled against guys that were stronger. He did. Speed guys, he struggled because especially how a lot of defense they like to spread out and make you spread out to kind of accommodate them as well. The tackle boom out a little bit, the guard a little bit. So now you're a mono against somebody who's just as big as fast, and that's where he struggled. That's right. The right for him was he struggled against faster defensive ends, and because he played tackle in college, he struggled against fast defensive end because he has a shorter arm.
But then you got to kick him in the guard. So, Al, what you got for the Cowboys?
All right, man. Let me tell you this much. It's a good day in Washington, a bad day in Dallas, man. Dak still isn't signed. Neither is CD. On some good news, like I said, Tyler Guyton is actually is slotted right now as a starting left tackle. They moved Tyler Smith over to guard.
Okay.
I kind of would have did the opposite. I think with Tyler Smith having more field in there, the left tackle for Tyron Smith when he was there. I mean, like I said, man, it's rough being a Cowboys fan right now, man, because like I said, you just don't know what to expect. I expect us to win 10, 11, maybe 12 games again, but that's not what our season's about. We're not, we're just doing it. And I don't know what Jerry's an old guy. I don't know if he's just, I can't think he's biding time, but it's almost like he's putting his team in the worst position to support a good year for Dak. So it's like show improved Dak. But I don't have your wide receiver there. I'm putting a rookie tackle as your blind side tackle. And like I said, I didn't just give you any more weapons. I brought your old running back in, your best friend, and Zeke to be your running back. I didn't bring a lot of any of the young talent in the draft in the running back position. I mean, it's just like I said, it's. I'm just curious to see what's going to show up. Could it be smoke and mirrors, and we have a great season, maybe great regular season, possibly? It wouldn't surprise me. But like I said, it's just the same old thing, man. Jerry likes hearing himself talk more than he liked hearing people talk about what's going on with his team.
Well, I believe that you guys are about to get some help at the wide receiver spot. It's only going to cost you a CeeDee Lamb.
We're not going to get Brandon Ayuk.
Y'all going to get Brandon Ayuk.
We're not. He's going to go to the Patriots, or he may go to the I don't know how Cleveland's going to make it work, because Cleveland is real big in on this trade. And we need to talk about that because they got the Jerry Jeudy. They got our old wide receiver.
They got a wide receiver to send back.
They got a hell of a wide receiver crew.
They got a wide receiver to send back. They got a wide receiver to send back that's already signed as well. And if you want to win a Super Bowl and you're Cleveland in that wide receiver room, you're hoping that your name is called. You're hoping that you can go out there and be the difference.
Heck yeah. Why wouldn't Amari Cooper want to go out to the California? Maybe
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
And like I said, he's at a much more reasonable price than the 30 to 35 million that Brandon Ayuk is asking. He's at $20 million a year, which back then seemed like a lot. Now seems like a discount. When Dallas signed for that 5-year, $100 million contract, he's still in the for Cleveland. So I mean, like I said, good question. We didn't touch on that. What is they gonna do with Ayuk?
Well, actually, that's what we're going to go here next. But Sid has a question first. He answered it in the chat, but I want you to answer this out loud, Sid. This is a question for Sid. I think Kirk Cousins will give you guys one of the top offenses in the league. Do you think that y'all will win the division this year? And your answer is?
Yeah. The thing is, they've given Kirk Cousins weapons. You got two capable running backs. You got two capable tight ends. You have 3 wide receivers, and they got one guy in who has some speed to be able to take the top off a little bit. The worry for the Falcons is the offensive line. Can they get them guys to gel well enough so Kirk Cousins can get rid of the ball and hit some of the guys in stride? Kyle Pitts is going to be a monster this year. He's fully healthy. He's moving. He's a nightmare matchup. He's too fast with some linebackers. He's too big with some corners. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, and Baker Mayfield shows up and disappears often. I think Carolina has at least one more year of rebuild. Carolina still needs other pieces, and then you go down to New Orleans. Derek Carr has up and down. What I'm worried about is them taking Derek Carr and bringing in Spencer Rattler, and he shows up in the NFL.
You worried about a Gamecock? Is this a Bulldog worried about a Gamecock?
Well, don't forget Deebo Samuels is a Gamecock as well.
Man.
The thing is, Josh, one thing about Kirk, he's productive. He's going to be productive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And if you're worried about that offensive line, the one thing that Kirk Cousins can do is dump it off to a running back to chew up some stats for him.
Yeah. And they got one of those.
2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as sooner or later, you're going to either stop blitzing them, stop trying to heat up that offensive line, and sit back for those for those running backs, and the wide receivers should then be able to get you 2. But Atlanta, I believe, is going to if a line can't pass block, I know they damn sure well better be able to run block. I know, Lady A, I'm getting fined. Al, we got a question for you here. It says a question for Alvin. What do you think the Cowboys think of Trey? Might he be a threat to Dak, and why Jerry ain't signed him yet?
No, and no. Don't think much of Trey. Don't think Trey is a threat to Dak. If he would have been, like I said, I think movement would have been. But I mean, I think we're still in a wait and see when it comes to Trey Lance. And I mean, like I said, I think he was in one of the best situations possible. The 49ers traded the house for him and couldn't get nothing and only asked for a 4th-round pick back. And I think I can't say they have better evaluators of talent or better evaluators or developers of talent. I think Cal has a better offense than he's proven to be a better offensive coordinator than Mike McCarthy. So I think if we could have got something out of Trey Lance, they would have before trading him. But I'm not expecting if Dak doesn't sign, Dak's going to break the bank next year regardless, whether it's with us or someone else, like the Raiders or one of the other teams. So no, I don't think the Jerry. I hope Jerry's not hoping that Trey Lance is the answer to that. I pray that's not the case.
Well, hey, sometimes it's like that,
Oh, come on!
I'm really more surprised that CeeDee Lamb, after what he did last year, is not signed.
I can't understand that. Sid. Give me a good reason for that. Give me a good reason why not to sign when we know we have to sign him. Micah Parsons is coming up. Like I said, we got $40 million dead money on the cap next year from Dak anyway. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna work on that. But why would we not? Give me a good reason why we wouldn't.
Right,
because you don't have the money.
They can franchise him
with 30 seconds of spending. How do we not have the money?
But they can franchise him for 3 years. Is it 2 years, 3 years? 3 years.
Yeah, but you know what they say.
After that third year, he can go where he want to go, and nobody can do anything about it.
You know what they say. Once you go down that franchise tag road, you need to be prepared for that player to leave you anyway, right?
For sure. Look at T. Higgins. T. Higgins gone. Look at Cincinnati. Now he's way better than T. Higgins. But how do you justify everybody in your class outside of Jamar Chase, who's about to get his money, has Amon St. Brown, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, all these guys who most of you are better than, maybe the exception of Justin Jefferson, didn't have to ask long for their money. And Jamar Chase is being told, come to practice. We're going to get it worked out. You don't have to practice, but that way we don't have to find you. Just come here, do a couple walkthroughs, and sit to the side so you get your contract worked out. I mean, come on, man.
Because they know what type of player he is as well.
Of course they do.
So here's the thing. Let's really look at this, okay? Let's look at this. CeeDee Lamb, you're absolutely right, Alvin. As far as that wide receiver draft class goes, Justin Jefferson has to be pretty much the only wide receiver that's outperformed him in that class, right? I mean, CeeDee,
and not by much if he did, but go ahead, you're right.
And CeeDee is a monster with little to no help on the other side. With little to no help on the other side, and that's why come playoff times, you guys get staggered. That's why the relationship between him and Dak disappears, because now we can put a over under on you. We can put a safety over the top. We can have a corner in a trail position. We could drop linebackers into your curl and your hook zones, and we can stream them across on your slants. And we still got a safety to watch you as well. So now what does Dak have to work with? A tight end that ain't that fast or something else? I get it. Now, as far as CeeDee not being there, I think that's the only thing he can do is just tell him, hey, I'm not happy. You got Dak that you got to pay. You got Micah coming up next year, and you got me. I'm in the middle, and you don't seem to be wanting to pay me no attention.
Makes sense. And it makes sense to pay him early. So you can combine that with the last year. So and to go back to what you just said real quick, Pick, the problem with the playoff game is Dak was smoking crack. Dak was so bad in that playoff game, man. Dak was throwing balls at the man's feet. And CeeDee was coming back to him like, what are you doing? You're throwing the ball behind me. You're leading me into trouble. All the stuff you didn't do. They've seen the coverages. But Dak was out there smoking crack where he was playing. And that was the problem.
But he was getting heated up. Green Bay was heating him up as well. Green Bay, that defense was heating him
was rolling
up.
Out and throwing behind. He was throwing behind himself right into the trap coverages. Come on, man. He's an 9-year vet. Come on.
Yeah, he is a 9-year vet. Let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. San Fran said they was not moving off of Brandon Ayuk, but I guess talks have broken down, and Brandon Ayuk wants his money. And as we know, the price only goes which direction, said? It never goes down. It never goes down. And don't forget, we had a couple more wide receivers get signed since training camp started, and Brandon Ayuk is a hold in. He's not a holdout. He's a hold in. So with this money going up for him and CeeDee to get their money, now these people have to rethink things, right? Now, San Fran's case, they have a lot of people that they had to pay prior to Brandon Ayuk. You knew that he was going to want his money after the All-Pro year that he put up last year. The price doesn't go down. That should have been an in-season signing, right? That they should have done. They should have pulled off an in-season signing if it was possible. But San Fran is holding off because their quarterback is up at the end of the year. So that's the difference. They have everybody else in place. Trent has no guaranteed money, so he's holding out. So you got to pay the best left tackle in the business and the wide receiver, right? And the who knew that the wide receiver market was going to boom the way that it did? So now they're entertaining offers when they're talking about with the Patriots and Cleveland. They want a wide receiver back in return, and they have the framework done. Washington has removed themselves from the picture because it's just way too much, and we're not sending you Terry McLaurin to get Brandon Ayuk. That just doesn't make sense. Those dollars don't make sense to me, and just like if I was Washington, I would have pulled myself out of that as well. Now I'm glad to send you a De'Ami Brown, but you don't want a shit stain Brown.
Stop it.
You right, Lady A. You right. That one did. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to myself right now. Hold on.
Stop it. But you know that Ayuk has vetoed several trades already.
And he's been given
from what he's saying.
He's been given the authority to go out and seek his own trade,
and offer. But like I said, the teams that want to trade for him won't push the button on the trade because they can't agree upon an offer, a contract, because that's part of the thing. They're not going to trade for him unless they know they can sign him.
Hey, I want to do a little quick exercise, right? All right. Can everybody give me one team, and you guys in the chat as well, one team that you guys think that Brandon Ayuk could get traded to, that you think Brandon Ayuk could get traded to? Now, remember, they want a wide receiver back. So that means that the team that you guys send them to has to have an abundance of wide receivers. I'm going to go first, all right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say Houston.
No way. They got too much money. Into Stephon, they got a tank there. Why would they trade Young for? They got two young wide receivers and a guy who's just as good as Brandon Ayuk under contract.
They got 3 young wide receivers. Don't forget about Mechie.
I know, but I'm just saying two that play that's gonna be in the depth chart with Stephon Diggs. You got Ayuk is a younger Stephon Diggs, but the good thing about Stephon is he's under contract.
Don, we know that the Cleveland and the Patriots are linked. We want another team. We want you to give us another team that you think could come in the middle of the night and get Brandon Ayuk. I'm just saying, I think Houston's loaded at the wide receiver position. You forgot about John Mechie last year. They had a wide receiver. What's his name? He got hurt, so he was gone towards the end of the year. And you're right, they do have another young wide receiver that excelled in the playoffs, and then they brought Stephon Diggs in. But I think they're loaded at the wide receiver position. And Houston is pushing forward. They're going all in, and that's why I said Brandon Ayuk, because if you have Brandon Ayuk,
Cozy got a good idea. Carolina, they got their money.
Carolina
got a young wide receiver, got a young quarterback that needs the help. They're not paying the quarterback much because he's on a rookie deal, and Brandon can probably go break the bank there. He can get his money there. That's a great. I think
what
that's
wide
a good
receiver
team.
would they send back? What wide receiver would they send
they're
back?
They're gonna send what's the boy name? The play for Minnesota. That needs to be besides Stephon.
You talking about Thielen? Adam Thielen?
Adam Thielen, yeah. Somebody got
Adam Thielen back. Oh, Thielen's a third down monster. That's a third down monster right there. Say it. Who you got? Or Al? Which one of y'all ready?
Kansas City.
Who they sending back? Say it.
Send Rice back to him.
Montreal, Washington.
Shoot, they got
only one they're not gonna send is Rashee Rice.
Yeah, they're not sending Rice.
Well, he ain't gonna play half the season.
He in trouble.
Yeah,
and the boy they just drafted. They're not gonna send the boy they just drafted either.
After the show, I'll let y'all. After the show, I'll let y'all know what's
they got Marquise.
They deep. I think they got 2, 4, 6. They like 8 deep in wide receiver.
They deep the wide receiver. They got Marquise Brown and they got Worthington. I don't think they'll get either one of them up. But like you said, Rashee Rice, he ain't gonna play for half the season. But
I forgot about Marquise Brown is over there now.
Yeah. Hollywood, baby.
I forgot about that. So now you got Hollywood, Rashee Rice, and that speedster.
They got the fastest 2 combo. They got the fastest 2 combo in the league. That's faster than Tyreek. That's faster than Tyreek and Waddle.
And they said he's been throwing the ball deep a lot during practice.
4-2-1, 4-2-6. Okay, Al, who you got?
Man, I don't have a clue, man. Who would I choose? Who would I want? I would like him to go to Pittsburgh. You know, I'm partial to Pittsburgh, but I think a team that should look to trade for him, my Buffalo Bills. Why wouldn't Buffalo go trade for him?
He's Buffalo does need some wide receiver help.
He does need wide receiver help. They got a young squad. He can help that squad. So Buffalo, but I think Buffalo will be a good spot for him. They probably have the draft capital. They definitely have the money. They just got rid of Stephon, and he's less of a headache. Well, he may be more of a headache. I don't know. We got to prove that he can catch it cold weather. That's my only problem. He's been living on the Bay. He's been living on the West Coast too long, man.
Yeah,
and,
Arizona State.
Yeah, so I need to see if he can be used to the cold weather. But I think a good team that would need him, and he would have a great quarterback to throw him the ball, and he'll be force fed. And he got another young wide receiver on the other side. And Keon Coleman. So I think Buffalo will be a good team.
All right. Y'all keep putting those ideas out there. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball now for the Washington Commanders. The only surprise that we've seen here that I was surprised by is Benjamin St-Juste is one of the starting corners. Mikey Sanders still is Detroit or Green Bay is what Don has said. But you got to tell us some wide receivers that they could send back, Don. You got to tell us who they would send back. Mikey Sanders still is the slot corner, Benjamin St-Juste, and then you got Mike Davis as the starting corners for the Commanders on the unofficial depth chart. Emmanuel Forbes is listed on the second. The one thing you do know about Benjamin St-Juste and Michael Davis is are they big, and that is absolutely what Dan Quinn and Witt what they like. They like big quarters. Think back to the Legion of Boom. So they definitely have a type. If you look at it that way. Another thing that surprised me too was Fedarian Mathis is listed as third on the depth chart behind Ridgeway and Deron Payne, where Jimmy Newton, that is, Zacchaeus Newton, he's second, him and Ridgeway. Fedarian Mathis maybe cut this campus's third season. Speaking of, De'Ami Brown is another person that's in a do or die type situation. Jamin Davis is actually second at outside linebacker. Got to see what type of day he has on Saturday. Jamin's going to need to make a lot of plays from the linebacker position, from the rushing position, come this Saturday, because he could be out of there. And that's about all that surprised me on the defense side of the ball. Al, defense. You ready, Al? No? Yes, no?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at this race real quick, and I was going back and forth. I'm sorry, dude. I was zoned it. I do apologize, man. I was checking this mile finish, man. It was pretty good coming across the race. Man. I apologize, man. I'm sorry, man.
He said he had the Olympics on in the background.
I did have the Olympics on, man. I was looking at the mile finish, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn mine on here in a minute.
What was the question again? Give me the question again. Pick them, sorry.
It was defensive surprises from y'all's unofficial depth chart from Dallas.
Defensive surprises. There's really none. Like I said, I mean, I had that ready to go early. I'm sorry. Like I said, the biggest part, like I told you, the update from last week, that Trayvon is back on off the PUP list. He's there. Our defense is kind of Kendricks is a little dinged up, so he's still questionable in the depth chart. But I think he was Eric Kendricks was our pickup from linebacker. I think D-Law is set to have a great year. We still got our young rotation of defensive tackles. Micah, of course, on the other side. Our defense is pretty much we had the same safeties. Only thing is we got rid of Gilmore and we brought back Trayvon. I was surprised. How about this? I was surprised to see Deron Bland so high on the NFL's top 100 list. He made the top 100. That was my open mic. We didn't go into that.
That's my open mic right there.
But like I said, I was surprised to see him over players like a lot of cornerbacks. Darius Sneed, who was the top flight cornerback last year for Kansas City. Yep. Sky Moore, he was third or fourth team All Pro. He made it above him. I mean, like I said, I was surprised to see him, but he had a hell of a year. But like I said, he was getting, at moments He was getting when AJ Brown got on Deron Bland, they had to get him off of it and put Gilmore on him because he couldn't check AJ Brown. So
yeah. He's feast or famine. It was feast or famine.
Yes.
Feast or famine.
So, like
okay,
I said,
what you got?
I really only have one that I found interesting. It was listed. What's the boy's name? Troy Anderson, quarterback turned linebacker who was hurt all last year. They got him listed ahead of Nate Landman, who actually played very well going down the stretch last year in place of Troy Anderson. So that's going to be interesting to see which way they go with that, or are they just listing it as the depth chart unofficial, or is it going to be like that for the year? So other than that, everybody else is pretty much where they were already to see, and then because we have a cornerback battle with Phillips and what's his name, Murphy. What's the boy's name? Mike Hughes and Clark Phillips have been belling out for the cornerback spot opposite of AJ Terrell. So it's going to be interesting to see, but mostly the linebacker spot.
Got you. I got one last thing to say about Dyami Brown. And y'all know I was a Dyami Brown fan last year. I am off that bandwagon really, really fast. So Dyami,
he don't want to be great.
So that's the last thing I say about.
That's what you gonna say? That's what you want to say?
That's the last thing I had to say about Dyami Brown. Hey, this last part right here should take us no more than about 10 minutes to finish up. We hit an open mic. We give you an open mic when we have topics that we haven't hit. So here is my open mic topic right now. Terry, the top 100 as Alvin brought up, which I said was my open mic topic. Terry McLaurin is number 97. And this is voted on by the players, right? Yep. Terry McLaurin has played with a ton of different quarterbacks, and the players only think he's number 97. Years after being left off the list or just barely mentioned to be on the list, what if Terry, I don't want to say it really like this, but if Terry gets hurt, where is our wide receiver depth? What are we going to do? Because we know Jahan had a sophomore slump last year, so we're expecting a bounce back. Right, we're relying on Zacchaeus, what's his name, Ojolari, whatever, and Luke McCaffrey. The one player we can't afford to lose on the Washington Commanders is Terry, right? And that's number 97 on the top 100 list.
That's pretty good for him. You don't think that's pretty good for Terry? 97 on a team that won 5 games last year?
Hey, I'm just saying. I know that, he's a dog. He's a dog. But your peers think that you barely on the list after being a dog.
There's 13, almost 1,400 players, Pick. That's the top 7%.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What else do you want to be in a position that's very popular and has a lot of dogs in it right now? And he made a top 100 players. That's a testament to Terry.
I think
Terry probably didn't even think he was going to be on that list.
I think that with everything that he went through, and his peers knowing that that's the man on that team for offense, I think it should have been higher. Now I can't wait to see what it is next year. Hopefully Terry stays healthy and has a great year. Him and Jaden click, and he puts up his best numbers ever.
Got a question for you. Where do you think he should have been rated?
Oh no,
not 97. I'm just not 97. Where do you think he should have been?
I'm saying that's motivation.
Oh, okay, but
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm just saying, where do you think he should have been rated? Because it sounds like you think he was underrated. That's what I'm saying. He's 97.
I'm saying
top 100 players.
After years of being, just right there on the cuffs of the list, left off an honorable mention. I think it's his second or third year. He was like honorable mention, like number 102, 101, somewhere around there. And he's number 97 this year. I think it's just more fuel for Terry. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's
I'm just interested to see what you thought. What do you think he should be rated, Sid? You think Terry McLaurin is the top 100 player in the league of all positions?
Yeah, apparently they believe so. I mean, it's still 45 players. I mean, it's nothing what I got to say, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I don't have to guard him on Sundays. You know, I don't have to
Right,
guard him on
exactly.
Sunday. I don't know how hard
You're
it
right.
is. You know what
You're
I'm saying?
absolutely right.
I don't have to guard him on Sunday. So I mean, you know,
All right.
I get no dog in that fight.
Said, you got anything for open mic?
Wait a minute. Did I have something? Nah. I'll save it for another day.
Okay. Al, you got anything for open mic?
How crazy what's just going on this I mean, it shows you how crazy people, even the players, they don't know the same. The fact that I think that Patrick Mahomes, I want to know when they voted on this, and that would kind of help me understand this list. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes isn't the best player on that top 100 list. I understand Lamar. Who else was in Lamar?
Lamar was number one.
McCaffrey
was three.
Number one was Tyreek Hill. Yep. And even that, like I said, Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's one of the best wide receivers, but he's not even arguably the best. It's no argument that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now.
But it wasn't a quarterback. It was top 100.
What I'm saying, top player. Give me a player. Give me a player then on that list you would pick first above Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I'm just saying with the year that Tyreek had 1,800 receiving yards, you know.
That's why I want to know when they made the list. But I'm just saying, if you're going to tell me the top player in the league, regardless of position, I don't know a better player than Patrick Mahomes right now.
But hold on, Patrick Mahomes didn't win this year's Super Bowl. That he didn't win this. Like
he won MVP.
Tom Brady. He did because of when he made plays. But Tom Brady didn't win all of those Super Bowls for the Pats, right?
What are you talking about Tom Brady?
I know, but it was years that you could say that. It was years that you could say that defense carried Tom Brady, and then special teams won the Super Bowl. This is the first time that you could say that Patrick Mahomes was carried by that defense, which was number 2 overall in the league this year. That defense,
right? You're right. During the season, yes.
And then that defense came out and stopped San Fran to allow Patrick to get it going. Now Patrick made the plays when he needed to, but Patrick was not. This was not the Super Bowl that Patrick just went out there and slung that thing all over the yard.
Okay.
And so that's what
my question continues then. Would you because they asked this question? I heard this, not my question. I heard this question the other day. Would you trade? Do you think that Kansas City would trade Mahomes for Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, and Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, hell no.
So how is they better? How have they rated the better players than him? That wasn't my question, and I had to think about it. I was like, heck no. But I'm asking you, Pick. Name a player. If you were building a team.
No.
If I give you 2 picks for one,
okay.
But you couldn't pick Mahomes. Would you take the 1 pick for Mahomes or 2 picks for another or 2 other players?
Okay. Let me answer it this way, and I'm gonna answer Don's question first. No, I'm not downplaying Patrick Mahomes like he's Eli. That is not what I'm doing. By no means am I doing that. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes. Remember, you can't spell Eli elite without Eli. But
sure, yes, you can.
but
you spell it in another language.
But what I'm telling you is this. What I'm saying is, this was not the normal Kansas City offense that we saw this year, right? Because the wide receivers dropping passes and things like that. So Patrick didn't put up his normal Patrick numbers, right? Whereas Lamar went out and won the MVP.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we comparing quarterbacks for quarterbacks, of course I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes because whose hand do I want the ball in the fourth quarter? I want the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hand because he gonna get that left hand and doing this. And they say, what did I tell you this meant when you see Patrick Mahomes doing this? What this mean?
That means
bring the extra point. We about to score.
Send the play on in. We're not coming off the field.
Send the play in. Somebody's ass is in trouble. When you see Patrick Mahomes doing this right here, send the play in. They ass is in trouble.
Yeah, he done seen it already.
Yeah, when you see that going, you know you in trouble. But what I'm saying is, during the regular season, Lamar was that dude. Even though he missed a couple of games, he was that dude. During the regular season, Tyreek was keeping defensive coordinators up at night. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes wasn't, but Tyreek was keeping players, defensive coordinators, secondary coaches, cornerbacks. He kept them up at night.
So was that list about just last season? I thought it was who was up to this point the best player right now in the league.
No,
And if you go
it's
who had the
every
better
season that
then
list
you're right.
changes.
I get it, but that is no. It's in the last 5 seasons. It's no player better in the league than Patrick Mahomes. I don't care how many balls they dropped in the regular season. You tell me, I get my first pick who the best player in the league is right now, and it's P. Mahomes right now.
It is Patrick Mahomes, and maybe people tired of voting Patrick Mahomes number one because that could be possible too. But as far as that list goes, it changes every year because I guarantee you next year somebody else is going to be number one. Somebody's going to have one hell of a year, and they're going to do their thing, and they're going to be number one, and we're going to forget that Patrick Mahomes was number 4 on the list.
Patrick Mahomes, if he ain't number one on that list next year, that list is probably wrong again.
Again, yeah, I agree with you on that right there. Say it. Did we cover everything?
We cover 90% of it. We're gonna save 10% for another day.
We're gonna save 10% for another day. We gave you an hour and 40 today. Now listen up. Let me tell y'all something special was happening. Okay, so like I told you guys on Saturday, get your pens and papers ready. We got Travis Thomas joining us on Saturday. Next Tuesday, we have David Harrison from SI who covers the Washington Commanders. He'll be joining us as well. We lining these guests up so you guys can, tell a friend to subscribe to First String Podcast, fam. So make sure y'all like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. And the most important part is you tell a friend to tell a friend about First String Podcast. And since we covered 90% said, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Bucket hat said.
You got a new piece over there. Say got a new piece.
You do.
Artlist.io